Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of One Question, One Answer, and we have a great topic today, so I'm just going to jump right into it. In last week's I've Been Thinking newsletter, one of the top or most read stories, I should say, is about the fact that millennial women are feeling that they're being passed over for leadership opportunities. There was a great survey done by Deloitte called the Deloitte's Millennial Survey, talking about the fact that 67% of women and 64% of men felt that they would be leaving their profession or their job in the next 3 to 5 years. But the differences were pretty great in the sense that more women felt that they would leave because of leadership opportunities or a lack of them versus men who felt they just wanted to change their job or try to look for a new position. That's startling to me, and I wanted to ask some folks here at IKEA what they thought about it, why they think that millennial women are feeling this way. What is it that's kind of leading to that thought? So I'm going to start with Jan Gussick, founder of IKEA and CEO, and then we have Susan and Angela that are going to jump in as well. So Jan, what do you think?
Well, it's shocking and yet it's not surprising. It's shocking because to think that all the advances women have made, that young women are still feeling like they're being denied leadership positions. But when you look at the competitive environment that they work in, they don't see a lot of examples in the C-suite and in the boardroom. And I think without those examples, they're still largely being managed by a workforce that is made of men, comprised of men that have preconceived ideas about women in the workforce. So I think women have to. I think we need another 10 or 20 years before we reach a tipping point when women start to get in those C-suite positions and in those boardroom positions. They will elevate other women. And I also think it continues to be important for women to get into careers in the STEM area, the science, technology, engineering, and math, traditionally held by male counterparts, but those are the types of positions that often end up being in the C-suite. So, when I started the company, there were no examples of female CEOs at all. But I forged ahead and said, I can do this, and so can our young women today. They just need more examples.
Do you think, Jan, you've seen this, you're a mom, two kids, two young kids when you started. Do you think that there is something to be said for this stigma around that moms will have to leave early or come in late or not going to be able to be as engaged with the business, which seems to be this unfair stereotype, which I work here. We have many powerful, strong women in leadership and non-leadership positions, and with families that are able to balance a lot of it. I don't see that, and I thought that was surprising. Do you agree with that?
No, I think that's one of the preconceived notions that a lot of the male people in management have. Most of the women that I work with, if you give them some balance and you give them a little bit of flexibility, they will outperform most of their male counterparts because they're grateful for the flexibility. I mean, really, honestly, that's what we built.
I agree.
That's what we built IKEA on, being able to say, hey, that's an important aspect of your life, and so is work. And if we could give you the tools, you will do a good job, man or woman.
Yeah.
Just give you the tools to be flexible to have a life.
I agree. Susan, what do you think?
I'm actually kind of surprised about the findings. I've been lucky enough in my career to have reported to strong women, to do work for clients who lead major companies, and they're women. So I just think that it's something that because I've been in that environment, I don't see it that way. I see it much differently, and I think as long as young millennial women position themselves and find role models, that they'll be able to find opportunities that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I think that we have a lot of those here. And that's great when we see that entry-level positions, interns can come in and learn and see that. I think that's a way to start to turn that tide a little bit, is some that have come through this now and being aware of those subtle things.
Need to reach out and help elevate women.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Angela, what do you think?
I tend to agree with what everyone is saying. I also think it's interesting that the article pointed out that values are a little bit different too. So, if this generation is more interested in sustainability and saving the planet, and they're more passionate about home life and things like that, that could have something to do with it if leadership isn't seeing that passion and that drive and the enthusiasm for the company to help push it forward too. So that might be part of it.
Yeah.
Right, and that might be one of the differences because in an agency setting, especially in ours, we see that people have other lives and other interests, and we try to give them the tools and the flexibility to be able to pursue those. That's where corporate America has to adjust, and I think
Right.
that's where
Yeah.
the problem is.
Big difference.
It's really the problem is really is in corporate America where they remain inflexible,
Mhm.
they remain stubborn about putting women in C-suite positions.
Slow to change.
So they're very slow to change. So we're starting.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that you don't feel that way because
Right.
this industry is very marketing is very well advanced.
Mhm.
But I think
For sure.
corporate America has some issues to overcome.
Catching up.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And I think this is the topic that everybody should be passionate about. Millennials will make up such a large percentage of our workforce by 2025, 75% to be exact, that if we're not doing something to create those opportunities, I think that we're really not creating sustainable organizations and sustainable positions because that's a real mess.
Yeah, and you have daughters.
I do.
So
Yes,
it's
so this is
important
very
to you.
relevant to me.
Maybe not not for your own personal advancement, but you want advancement opportunities for your daughter.
That's right. And I think this is something we can talk about for a lot longer.
Right.
It's a longer one today, but I think it's really important, and I hope you found value in it. We'll link to the article in the description below, so definitely worth checking out if you didn't catch it last week. So until next week, thanks guys. It was great
Thank you.
information.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next week.